Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. How are you doing today? Oh, my goodness. What's up, guys? What's up? So yes, I have a new camera. It is, it's weird. It's a little different. We'll have to see what happens. I'm getting some studio lights tomorrow. So the lighting will get changed up because there's too much downlight. You can see lots of shadows. Unfortunately, you got to understand why I need studio lighting. I have to have studio lighting because when I'm downlit like this, the southern hemisphere hasn't seen the sun since I started broadcasting. So, anyway, so there you go. Them pores. Yes, I am a person with pores in them, and I'm old. So I am old. I look old. I've always been old. I was old before you were even born. But so anyway, the look of the show will change a little bit tomorrow, hopefully, if I get the studio lighting set up. But of course, and everything is going to change a lot when I actually rearrange the office. But for now, we're trying out this new camera. Rekieta Live in front of a 90s era green. This isn't green screen. That's just bokeh, baby. Look at this. I can go out of focus with it. I don't even exist. It's not a fake backdrop, Siren. That's the real backdrop. That's just depth of field, baby. So anyway, I think that's funny that it looks like a fake backdrop. It's real. Check it out. There you go. If I was going to do a fake backdrop, it would be a whole lot more interesting than just my bookshelf. I did buy a green screen, though. I did buy a green screen. I don't have it yet. I'm not going to use it for most streams, but to do some like random stuff or special stuff, I figured I'd get one to play with. But yeah. So anyway, I hope everybody hates it. I hope everybody hates it. So, yeah, with that, how are you? How's it going? I don't have anything pulled up because I had to restart my computer right before starting the show. But yeah. So let me get that pulled up because there's some early super chats that I'll need to grab. Very important to grab those. We've got some different subjects to cover today. We've got Chauvin's motion. Derek Chauvin's motion for a new trial. We're going to take a look at it. We'll see how that goes, what that looks like. I have not read it yet, so this will be fun. We've got ultra secret leaked KICKVIC messages. You may have seen them floating around on Twitter, and this is the expose to end all exposés. We're going to talk about that one. And we'll talk about Trump's social media, probably, I guess, his social media platform, and also his Facebook banning thing. So we'll talk about that too. Alucard, it's not fake. It's real. It's my real backdrop. I'm going to grab a bottle of whiskey from there in a little bit. You guys are mean. So we're going to talk about Trump's new social media, also his Facebook ban, which has been upheld. So there's something there. And then we'll probably devolve into talking about some other subjects as well. We'll do that. What happened today? What happened today? I got my camera today, obviously. And I've been messing around with that for a good chunk of the day. We had live chat Wednesday, which was fun. I smoked a chuck roast, which you can see up on the locals page. Which you can see up on the locals page. And let's see what else is going on. Oh, I guess I should say this live stream and basically all of them are brought to you by Locals. And the Locals page, my Locals page, not Locals the company. I should be very careful not to accidentally misrepresent that Locals is supporting me, because while I do like Locals and I hope they like me, they haven't ever officially endorsed me or anything like that. So no misrepresentation there. This is brought to you by my Locals page and the supporters on my Locals page. It's ricadalaw.locals.com. If you join there, you get access to the Discord. You get exclusive posts and junk from me from time to time, and some other stuff. Plus, you support the show and make it happen. Live streaming is coming to Locals like soon. Like soon. That's the technical term for it. I was just on a call on Monday, and they are test running the live streaming on Dave Rubin's page, since he founded the company or whatever. And then it should be rolling out to everybody really, really soon. I have live streaming activated on Odyssey, but I have one minor problem with it that I have to work out. The bitrate that I broadcast to on YouTube is too high for the bitrate for Odyssey. So I have to figure out what kind of impact lowering the bitrate will have on, if it'll have any impact on quality at all. I don't know. I might be broadcasting at too high of a bitrate on YouTube. I'm not sure. But to multi-stream, I have to figure out what's going on with balancing out the bitrate between the two channels. So I have to figure that out. But live streaming I do have it activated on Odyssey, both on this channel and the Ricada Media channel. Turns out it was activated on the Ricada Media channel first, and I didn't see that. And then someone came in and donated some Libri coin to get me set up to do live streaming on their on the main channel over there. So your camera's looking great, but you're looking worse. Yes, I'll have to start caking on foundation like a mainstream media journalist or whatever. We'll start doing that. I'll cake on foundation and we'll change my skin shade and everything so I can be in whiteface. But yeah, so there you go. But no, it actually should look a little bit better, maybe, when I get the studio lights. Or it'll look worse. It'll probably look worse. Turn down the contrast and sharpness a little. No, not right now. Not right now. Put the background in focus. You guys are very helpful. You guys are very helpful. But yeah, this is just the first time I've got the thing running 20 minutes before the show started. So there'll be some tweaks that happen to it as we get going. I did not pop a pimple this morning, you liar. How dare you? How dare you? Okay, let's do the I would have. I just didn't have one. Leave me alone. Let's do the chats, and then we'll get started on this Chauvin motion and the KICKVIC stuff, which is just... This case has been going on too long, and I kind of hope that it ends... not ends. I hope that the Court of Appeals decision comes in tomorrow. That would be great. We need that to happen soon. All right, so Richard Grubber says, can't stay up for the stream. Got to wake up at 5 a.m. to work. I'll catch the archive stream tomorrow. Have some money, Big Nose. Big Nose. That's the best you could do was Big Nose. Sorry, that's from Roxanne. Lord of Swarm says, I pledge to donate $50 if you play Adam Warrock's Objection as an outro during the stream. It's an Ace Attorney rap that I freaking love. Also makes me think of your Let's Play. The problem with doing something like that is I don't have permission from the creator to do it. So it runs a nasty copyright risk, especially just playing it as an outro. But I could reach out to Adam Warrock, whoever that is, and see if they'd let me sometime. I don't know who that is. Next, we have Yashken, who says, eggs are terrible. Fight me, Nick. Eggs are not terrible. You're terrible. This man doesn't like eggs. Who doesn't like eggs? You're defective. You're defective if you don't like eggs. I should not have planned any topics for tonight. What I should have done is I should have planned for 3 hours of you guys talking about the camera. That's what I should have done. Rookie mistake. I'm terrible. I should have figured this out. Yeah, Angry Baneling, but that's because Anna's broken on the inside. That's why she doesn't like eggs. You never want to be in company with Anna on food. In fact, we will have a movie night tonight. I'm not quite sure what movie we're going to watch. There's a bunch to choose from. We will have a movie night tonight, and I'm going to eat some eggs at the movie night. Just for you, Yashken. A Lonely Crow says, hey, Rackets, just became a supporter on Locals today because I wanted to see the Chuck roast. Can't catch this stream because of work tomorrow. Hey, thanks. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. It was quite delicious, and I'm going to eat some more of it during the Twitch stream with eggs. I'm going to put eggs on top of Chuck roast. Insults, you look like the kid from Rainmaker. Yeah, well, you look like the guy from Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman, except autistic. Take that. Speaking of that, hold on. Let me get through these last couple super chats. Brett Nichols says, looks like Nick took a bath. Finally. Rude. I take a bath every night in my hot tub. Not Applicable says, oh God, buy makeup to lower the resolution again. So mean. There's a news story. I've got to pull it up. Hold on. Oh no. I didn't set up the camera to go. Scheiße. Hold on. I did not set up the camera to go on this other screen. I got to get that worked out. Okay. Where's the... Wait a minute. Do I have to... Hold on. Let's see. Almost there. Hold on. I forgot to set this part up. There we go. All right, so we've got that. Now let's go with this. I know it's very riveting, me doing this in real time. Did you guys see this bullshit yet? Here you go. Oh my gosh. There we are. All right. Look at this. Are you serious? Speaking of being mean, Twitter will flag offensive tweets before you send them. Before you send them. Twitter will now ask users to think twice before sending mean tweets, the company said on Wednesday. Starting immediately, Twitter will now hit users with a prompt that encourages them to pause and reconsider a potentially harmful or offensive reply before they hit send. What does Twitter consider potentially harmful and offensive? That's not really clear. In its blog post announcing the decision, the company didn't share any examples of words or phrases that would catch the attention of its internal censors, and company representatives declined to share any examples with the Wrap. You know why? Because they don't know yet. The AI has to learn the insults. The AI has to learn the insults before they can go ahead and implement this. And so they don't actually know what it's going to cancel. They don't know what speech won't be allowed on their own platform because they literally don't have any idea what their algorithmic intelligence is going to do. By the way, it shouldn't be artificial intelligence. It should be algorithmic intelligence. That's what it is. That's what all AIs are. But so now that's going to be the new thing. They'll be learning, and it'll learn very quickly. There's plenty of tweets and plenty of reports and plenty of all the whining that goes on. And there will be plenty of people to train it very, very quickly. And now your mean tweets will be, well, are you sure you want to say that? Yes, I do want to call him a dirty, disgusting tranny or whatever you want to say. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say. You definitely want to say it. You typed it. You hit enter. It's not a typo to send something mean. So yeah, I want to send it. Yeah, I want to say neck yourself. Neck yourself, commie, or whatever it is. Hang yourself from the People's Light Post or whatever. Let's see. Twitter did, however, share a few details about what it's incorporated into the system that determines when to send a prompt, which you can find below. Consideration of the nature of the relationship between the author and the replier, including how often they interact. Are you serious? For example, if two accounts follow and reply to each other often, there's a higher likelihood that they have a better understanding of preferred tone of communication. You think that's all they're monitoring on that? Adjustments to our technology to better account for situations in which language may be reclaimed by underrepresented communities and used in non-harmful ways. So if you're black, you get to say the N-word on Twitter. That's fine. That's fine. Soft A, N-word is fine. If you're black, Twitter has figured it out. They know you're black, and they know that you didn't mean to harm your fellow black man when you said nuka or whatever it is. And yeah, when some like butch ex-lesbian, now man, transgender is screaming at their ex-girlfriend and calling them like a degenerate catch you next Tuesday or whatever, they'll know. They'll know that they're transgender, non-binary, pan-fluid or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, it's fine. It's fine that they're berating another person because they have the berating pass. What do I have to do? Do I have to transition? Do I have to become a woman? Do I have to get the axe wound? Is that how I get to make fun of people again? What does it take? What do I have to tell Twitter that I did? I just want to figure that out. Improvement to our technology to more accurately detect strong language, including profanity. How hard is it to detect profanity? It's like 12 words. Just put it in a database. Created an easier way for people to let us know if they found the prompt helpful or relevant. Right? Perfect. Oh, yes, this was an offensive thing that I said. Good. Train the AI. Train the AI. That's what they've already done. Here's the prompt. Alan Graham says this is a mean tweet that features the word blank and blank and might need to be reviewed. Want to review this before tweeting? All of the fun stuff is going to be unlawful or unpalatable very quickly. Calling Tess Holliday a fat, that's not going to be allowed. Can't have her being called a fat. Can't talk about reality. Twitter said the feature has shown promising results in testing. 34% of users revised or decided to scrap a tweet altogether when prompted. They're mice pressing buttons. They're just mice pressing buttons. And on average, users sent out 11% fewer offensive replies after being hit with the prompt for the first time. Just open social conditioning, and they're calling it good. Get the helicopter. Dorsey needs a short ride. Jack Dorsey's ride will be so young, he'll try to take pictures of it. If this sounds a bit familiar, that's because Twitter has leaned on similar measures in recent years to improve what CEO Jack Dorsey calls the health of conversations on the app. For example, Twitter started hiding rude tweets at the bottom of reply threads back in 2018, but that apparently wasn't enough to weed out mean comments on the platform. Weed them out? Weed out the mean comments? Twitter isn't useful without mean comments. That's the only thing that Twitter is good for, is dropping just a spicy tweet. You want them to cry. I want someone to go home crying when they read my tweets, no matter what they are. The good ones, the bad ones. I want someone to cry from all of them. But specifically the insults. Richard P. Someone said, haven't any of these idiots read 1984 or Brave New World? Oh, Wolvenar. Yeah, of course they did. They were instruction manuals to them. Richard Pierce says, request a refund from the camera salesman immediately. Well, I sold myself the camera, so I turned down the refund. Maybe Twitter should have filtered out that mean comment. I'm now in support of Twitter's policy. Trump Willis is my name, says Nick. I can tell you popped a pimple this morning. I did not. And I also can tell you the blurry background makes it look like a soap opera. Good. Mr. Netanyahu says, any chance of having Josh as a guest again? Yeah, I love having Josh on anytime. The only reason I haven't had Josh on lately is because of all of his lawsuits. I don't want anything to compromise in any way his suit with Melinda or his suit with Russell Greer or anything like that. I love having him on, whatever the topic is. He's welcome. He's welcome to come on, and we can avoid those subjects too. But I just don't want I don't want any pressure or any like awkwardness about those lawsuits, because those lawsuits against him are completely bogus. But both of them have gone farther than they should, and so I don't want anything to compromise that. Breck, I have noticed. Believe me. You guys can criticize the camera all day. You'll never criticize how I look as hard as I do. I'm the one who has to look at my stupid face all the time. Fox McLeod says, who would win in a fight? Ray Gordon or Ron Soye? Yes, Ron has a remote. Ron would win because Ray would just have his fake lawyer send a fake cease and desist and then never follow up on it because he's bad at chess and also bad at life. And to answer the questions that may come in, no, despite it being well over 7 days, and I certainly have not paid Ray Gordon $50,000, I shockingly have not heard anything else from his lawyer or him, and I have not been sued so far. Trump Willis is my name, says, Nick, can you do me a solid and check out the Epic versus Apple lawsuit? It is finally a discovery, and there's some pretty good stuff in it from what I hear. Yeah, I'll check back in on it. I've been waiting. I haven't done anything. The funny news story the other day is, of course, the court had a hearing, and they accidentally opened the line to anybody who was on the call rather than just the lawyers and the parties. So that was stupid. Good job, court. Reaver Barash says, holy crap, Rackets, I can see your pores. I want you to see inside my pores. Frosthammer says, welcome to Law Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Recato of Recato Law, LLC, a small law firm in central Minnesota where the host is as fake as the green screen background. It's not a green screen. Bart Silverstein says, I knew technology ages people, but Jesus, Nick. I wouldn't compare myself to Jesus, but I'm flattered by the compliment. Tina says, Nick, a lot of people watch the stream with strong alcohol on hand. That alcohol can now double as eye bleach. I mean, HD is not your friend. You know what's sad? You know what hurts me? The resolution is actually lower. The lens is just better. If I was actually in 4K, I would look even worse. Even worse. Mithran Emrys says, we must promote double plus good think, comrade. Yes, we should. We must do it. We must do it. Stop the meanness. Throw some Vaseline on the lens. What if I just covered my entire body with Vaseline first? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. No, I love it. I love the banter. I love being berated for hours every night. Why do you think I come back? If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be here. So berate away. Berate away. I told you I want someone to cry with every tweet that I make. I want to cry. I want to feel. Speaking of crying, I did something that I don't normally do. I watched someone else's content today because I had a few minutes. It was at the top of my feed, and I was going to drive, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit this button. And I watched It's a Gundam's video. Magnificent. Love that guy. His videos are fantastic, always. And this one is about some weird, disgusting degenerate on TikTok getting thrown out of the house, right? And it's apparently It's apparently a female to male trans person. And Gundam brings up an excellent point. The first thing this person does when their mom is throwing them out of the house is starts crying. And Gundam says, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me tell you something. You transition into being a man. Can't cry your way out of shit ever again. It's perfect. It's perfect. You don't get to cry your way out of things anymore. Sorry, ladies. You think men have the easy street? You've been running life on easy mode your entire existence. You can't just start crying and get your way when you're a man. You can't do it anymore. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. He talked about if his girlfriend saw him crying when his dog died and left him. You can't cry as a man. Never in public. You can't do it. If you're going to cry, you go find a shovel, you dig a hole, you bury yourself alive, you cry, and then you dig your ass out like a man. You get up like nothing happened. You blame it on the mafia and say you beat him or whatever. You do not cry in public as a man. Ever. It's over. And ladies looking to become fellas, you better learn that. You can't do it anymore. You don't get to run that play. It's been taken out. It's like arena football. You don't get to run that play anymore. Get out. And by the way, if a woman ever catches you crying, you better rub an entire onion in your eye and be like, it's the fucking vegetable. That's what did it. If there's no onion around, just rub broken glass into your eyes to compensate. Find some reason that there is water coming out of your eyes. Pour an entire bottle of Dasani on your face. Whatever you have to do, don't be crying in public. And until you get this down, the ultimate advice is stop crying. These excuses and these alternatives and these strategies I'm sharing with you are very secret, but they're only for people who haven't figured out how to stop crying. Stop crying. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, until you can, keep a handful of sand and glass and HIV needles or whatever to rub in your eyes in case anybody ever sees you crying. Just jam those hypodermics in. Shinobu Tezuka says, nice new camera. Looks like you turned on RTX. Yes, this is Ricada Law with ray tracing on. Just don't cry. But I wanted to give a shout out to It's a Gundam. Great video. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. I would say watch everything the guy puts out. It's all funny. It's all brilliant. It's all well edited, well done. He's a good dude, funny guy. I'd love to talk to him sometime. Hopefully we'll end up on a stream together at some point, but I like him. But I don't get to watch a bunch of other content usually. I really don't have a lot of time during the day to do it. So it was nice to get that and to have a video that was so on point. So on point. Okay. Chauvin. Chauvin has moved for a new trial. Do they have the moving documents? I have them somewhere. Come up. I think someone sent it to me. I gotta stop. I'm reading text from someone else. That's not what I'm here for. That's to do on my own time. What little of it there is. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Jake Thompson says, this new camera shows how old you are. Maximize wrinkles. Oh, I don't look as old as Will Smith does, though. Did you guys see Will Smith? Oh, my God. He makes me feel good about how terrible I look. Where is it? Oh, look at this disaster. Here we go. Are you guys ready? I'm going to ruin your day. Look at how bad he looks. Oh, God, his body shape is mine. It's awful. It's awful. Look at that. Look at it. Look at it.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me?
God, it's horrifying.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak?
I'm sorry. Probably copyrighted audio, motherfucker. Look at it. Oh, God. I'm sorry about the audio. I'm sorry about that. It shouldn't have been. I didn't even know there would. Why would there be audio like that? Everyone with headphones is now dead. At least they can't turn the stream off. Guaranteed viewers, motherfucker. Take that. What? What happened to Will Smith? He used to be cool. Didn't you see when he got his heart and soul ripped out of him by his wife? Oh! When she's like, I'm banging our son's friend to him on live television. That's what you get for having an open relationship. Oh my God, don't do it. Don't do it. Do you guys not? Okay, well, we've got time. Let's see. Is this the one? Let me see. I gotta see if this is the right. Fuck off. Go away. All right, we'll do this together. Here we go. This is 3 minutes long. This should be good. Whoops. Here we go. This will be good.
I guess about 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Started a friendship with August.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually became really, really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it all started with
him
just needing some help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me wanting to help his health, his mental state.
Because for me, that was the thing when Og first came around, he was really sick.
He was really sick. Yeah.
And the outpouring for him from our family was initially about his health.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah, it was about his health. He's really sick. Look, look at his face. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Whew.
we found all those different resources, you know, to help pull him through. And from there, you know, you and I were going through a very difficult time.
Uh-oh.
And
Yep.
we decided.
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to
I
the
was
curb.
done with you.
Yeah.
Marriages
basically-
have that, though. Marriages have that.
Yeah, we basically, we broke up.
We decided that we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah, I really felt like we could be over. You
Yeah,
know?
no,
And-
we were over.
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, you know, I think from there, you know, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August. And one thing I want to get clear about and clean up, one of the things that was kind of swirling in the press about
Swirling in the press.
you giving permission, which is, you know, the only person that can give permission in that particular
Yeah.
circumstance is myself.
Yes, exactly.
Nope. Not yes, exactly. Not yes, exactly. Look, only me can give permission to cheat. I mean, no, guys, you know, I don't think it's a good idea. I would never recommend it. Don't have an open relationship. I will tell you over and over, an open relationship is not a relationship. That is a woman getting fucked and you getting fucked in a completely different way. Don't ever do it. But guys can do it, I guess. But here we go.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
what August was probably trying to communicate, because I could actually see how he would perceive it as permission because we were separated amicably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Look at his face.
I think he also wanted to make it clear that he's not a homewrecker,
Yeah.
which he's not.
I think so. I mean, because this is your
I mean, I think I'm maybe, yeah, he is. He's not a home wrecker. Here she is defending him. Stop it. Stop it.
red table, and you like brought yourself to the red table. I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened.
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement,
Yes. Yes.
a relationship.
Yes, it was a
Yeah.
relationship. Absolutely. I was in a lot of pain and I was very broken.
Oh,
Now, in the
yeah.
process of that relationship, I definitely realized that you can't find happiness outside of yourself. And luckily enough,
His face.
you and I were also going through a process of healing in a much different manner. I
Oh,
would definitely
yeah.
say we did everything that we could to get away from each other, only to
They were doing the healing. The healing. Her healing came with a dick.
realize that that wasn't possible.
So we come to the red table. So I'm in the Jada position right now. So
Okay.
you know you.
Oh God. It will never be okay between them, by the way. That will never be okay between them. That is going to that encounter, that situation is going to haunt them forever. Don't do it. Don't do it. Work your marriage problems out or get out of it. I mean, if that's what you got to do. But I'd say work them out. You can work through them. What you don't need to do is go, you know what we really need is we need some time off to go find ourselves, because you'll go find yourself and she'll go find a bigger penis. That's what will happen. Because that's a woman and their options are literally everywhere, constantly. Your options are tiny and attenuated and very far apart. Her options are walk outside. Her options are limited only by her standards. That's it. Seriously. That it is not a balanced thing. It never has been. It doesn't matter how old or post-wall she is or whatever it is. An 80-year-old woman can walk out the door and get laid by some guy. All she needs to do is buy him a PS5. You try as an 80-year-old man to buy some chick a PS5, she will call the cops and mace you. It's a different world. You are not on even playing fields, and when you take a break, only you are taking a break. She is going into overdrive. That's the break for her. Work out your marriage problems. Work them out. Because she will get worked out if you guys decide to take a moment. Don't do it. Don't do it. And there's nothing, this isn't a slam on women or anything like that, by the way. Guys would do it too if they could go to Walmart and grab pussy off the shelf. They can't do that. Women can go to Walmart and grab dick off the shelf all day. For a guy, you have to fly to a different city and find a specialty store. It's expensive. It's time consuming. It takes a long time. You can't do it all the time. Don't do it. It's just an uneven playing field. And in the same way, a guy will financially cheat, right? He'll financially cheat. He'll go through a different type of healing. He'll go out, he'll ignore the budget, whatever his budget constraints were with her around, whatever that is. He'll go ignore those. He'll go buy whatever he wants. He'll go do some stuff. He'll take a vacation. He'll fly to a different city to watch a football game, something he would never have been able to do because he's going to just shirk his response. That's how guys do it. It's a completely different thing because guys have the resources and women have the assets. That's how it works. That's how we're built. And that's why we complement each other. And when push comes to shove, they'll both push and they'll both shove and they'll go to their safe spaces. Women's safe space is in their sexual market value, and guys' safe spaces are in their financial market value. It's how it works. Puggernaut says, "Hey Nick, what's the make and model for your camera purchase for us gearheads?" It's a Sony Alpha, an Alpha 7R4. That's the make and model. And the lens is the Sony FE 1.4 24 millimeter GM prime lens. It's a 24 millimeter prime with an f-stop of 1.4. And I like it. I like it very much. All right. Back to this thing. And I have some very lame photography plans for myself. I'm not a photographer. I've never been a photographer. I like high quality photography and I like taking pictures, but I've never been good at it. I've never had the equipment to do it. And so, I wanted to buy a camera that I could also pursue that hobby in my very minimal spare time. All right. Comes with a free aging app. Yeah, it's called Reality. All right. So the above named court, the Honorable Peter Cahill, Judge of Hennepin County District Court, and Matthew G. Frank, Assistant Minnesota Attorney General. So this is the defendant's notice of motions and post-verdict motions. So notice of motions. Take notice that the defendant, Derek Michael Chauvin, through his attorney, Eric Nelson, Hallberg Criminal Defense, hereby moves this court for the following relief. For an order granting a new trial pursuant to Minnesota Rule 26.04, Subdivision 1, on the following grounds: the interest of justice, abuse of discretion that deprived the defendant of a fair trial, prosecutorial and jury misconduct, errors of law at trial, and a verdict that is contrary to law. The specific bases for the motion include, but are not limited to: the court abused its discretion when it denied defendant's motion for a change of venue, pursuant to Minnesota Rule of Criminal Procedure 24.03, Subdivision 1, and 25.02, Subdivision 3, in violation of Mr. Chauvin's constitutional rights to due process and a fair trial. I agree. And if you remember, I've talked about this. This is an interesting sort of thing. The case he cites here is Shepard versus Maxwell. I mentioned that Shepard is one of the bases that they will use for the new trial. Shepard is the case that the movie The Fugitive was based off of. And in that case, a neurosurgeon was accused, I think he's a neurosurgeon, was accused of killing his wife. And they arrested him, charged him, and prosecuted him very quickly. The media was highly involved. And the Supreme Court eventually, after like 9 years, came to the conclusion that the court was compromised by the media's involvement in the case. Now, there are a ton of differences between Shepard and Chauvin's trial. However, the Shepard case was the first one where media interference and media pressure on public figures to act outside of their normal rigor in their public duties. It was the first case that the Supreme Court recognized that undue influence, the power of the media to change the court system. So it's the one that's cited. These are not analogs by any stretch, and it is a far cry. In Shepard, the media was interviewing jurors during the trial. The media was interrupting the trial there were so many media people in the actual courtroom itself that the journalists moving around and the cameramen moving around actually disrupted the trial at several points. There's a whole bunch more to it than what happened with Chauvin. That doesn't mean that Chauvin doesn't meet this, the necessary places. It just means they're not perfect analogs. And so this is not a slam dunk either way, but it is kind of the expected citation for it. The court abused its discretion when it denied defendant's motion for a new trial on the grounds that publicity during the proceedings threatened the fairness of the trial, again citing Shepard. Such publicity included post-testimony, but pre-deliberation intimidation of the defense's expert witnesses. That's where the expert witness was someone threw a pig's head at an old house that he no longer lived at. Widely reported in the media. From which the jury was not insulated. Not only did such acts escalate the potential for prejudice in these proceedings, they may result in a far-reaching chilling effect on defendants' ability to procure expert witnesses. Defendants, not this defendant, all defendants. Ability to procure expert witnesses, especially in high-profile cases such as those of Mr. Chauvin's co-defendants, to testify on their behalf. The publicity here was so pervasive and so prejudicial before and during this trial that it amounted to a structural defect in the proceedings, and that's citing United States versus Hastings. Certain errors involve rights so basic to a fair trial that their infraction can never be treated as a harmless error. And I want to get something out there. Someone left this comment on my Chauvin video that I did recently about the juror being shown to be wearing the "Get Your Knees Off of Our Necks" t-shirt. They did they left a great comment, and the comment was, Derek Chauvin can be guilty and also have not received a fair trial. That is the critical thing to remember in general with how your right to a fair trial works in this country. You can be the most guilty person on the planet. You are still guaranteed a fair trial. And if you don't get one, then the state has not met its burden. It can't in an unfair trial. Even if you remove the unfairness and in a fair trial, they would still be able to get the verdict. If the trial was unfair, you have to assume that that unfairness factored in. If they can get a fair trial, they will redo it. This is not a motion for dismissal. This is a motion for a new trial. And so whatever you think of Chauvin, either way, I don't care. I don't care about the man. I think Chauvin is a terrible hill to die on for like any sort of complaints, because no matter what, even if you think he was ultimately justified, his activities were at the end of the day still improper. Even if he was justified in doing them, in my opinion, his activities were improper. Does that mean he should go to prison forever? Not necessarily. He is entitled, however, to a fair trial, no matter what you think about him. I think that the case could have gone either way. I think it was entirely up to the jury. I think the prosecution or the defense did not defend the manslaughter case at all, and I think that was a big misstep by the defense. But I thought on the murder charges that the jury had enough information to either convict or acquit. It's up to them. That being said, it doesn't matter where you fall on this. He had a right to a fair trial. I don't think he got it. I said that before the trial. I don't know if he can get a fair trial in Minneapolis. I'm not sure if he can get a fair trial anywhere in Minnesota, but certainly not in Minneapolis. He should have been granted that change of venue. All right. The state committed pervasive, prejudicial prosecutorial misconduct, which deprived Mr. Chauvin of his constitutional rights to due process and a fair trial, including, but not limiting to, disparaging the defense. I'm wondering, I can't wait to see the memo about this. That'll be the memorandum where they explain this. Improper vouching and failing to adequately prepare its witnesses. The court abused its discretion and violated Mr. Chauvin's rights under the Confrontation Clause when it failed to order Maurice Hall to testify, or in the alternative, to admit into evidence Mr. Hall's statements to law enforcement regarding his interactions with George Floyd and presence at the May 25th, 2020 incident. So that's interesting. It'll be good to see. Again, this stuff should be put out into a memorandum of law that'll have more details on it. That'll be interesting to watch. I don't think that's out yet, but let me check. I'll check the Minnesota Judicial Branch and see if... nope. Media. There we go. High-profile cases. Chauvin. Let's see if there's anything on this so far. Nope. So there's not an actual memorandum of law just yet. So we'll be watching for that as it comes. The court abused its discretion when it submitted instructions to the jury that failed to accurately reflect the law with respect to second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and authorized use of force. The court abused... Again... I heard the jury instructions. I'm not quite sure what they're trying to focus on here. So that'll be interesting to see what they come up with on that. The court abused its discretion in violation of Mr. Chauvin's constitutional rights to due process and a fair trial when it permitted the state to present cumulative evidence with respect to use of force. The court abused its discretion in violation of his rights when it ordered the state to lead witnesses on direct examination. Yeah, you're not supposed to allow leading questions on direct examination, so that's an interesting thing there. That they're saying the court ordered that. The court abused its discretion when it failed to order that a record be made of the numerous sidebars that occurred during the trial. The cumulative effect of the multiple errors in these proceedings deprived Mr. Chauvin of a fair trial in violation of his constitutional rights. See State versus Duncan. When the cumulative effects of numerous errors, even if alone the errors are harmless, constitutes a denial of a fair trial, the defendant is entitled to a new trial. So this is just the prosecutorial misconduct. The next part, we've got to get to the juror issue. This is a Schwartz hearing. In order for a hearing to impeach the verdict, pursuant to Minnesota Rule of Criminal Procedure 26.03 and Schwartz versus Minneapolis Suburban Bus Company, on the grounds that the jury committed misconduct, felt threatened or intimidated, felt race-based pressure during the proceedings, and or failed to adhere to instructions during deliberations in violation of Mr. Chauvin's constitutional rights to due process and a fair trial. This will be a very interesting part of this. Based on what has come out about juror number 52, they absolutely should grant a Schwartz hearing. They should grant it. They should grant that. And once the memo comes out, I'll talk more about the Schwartz hearing. I've been reading up on one. I have never had to participate in a Schwartz hearing. They're not super common. But I've been reading up on him, and I think he does have a sufficient basis here to call for to show up the race-based pressure in the proceedings, as well as the fact that the juror lied on his jury admission form. Juror number 52 lied and said he did not protest, or he did not participate in any protest regarding the police use of force. And we now know that he was at the Washington, D.C. Martin Luther King March, which had specific protests against the police use of force, including speaking engagements from George Floyd's brother and sister. And to have that omitted, the crazy thing is if the guy had just admitted it, Eric Nelson may have kept him on the trial anyway. He may have kept him. But the guy lied on his jury form. He lied on his jury form. And then for an order granting the defense additional time to thoroughly brief the above issues in light of the time that was required for preparation of partial transcripts of the proceedings, any other relief deemed fair and equitable by the court. This motion is based upon the files and records in this case, Minnesota statutes, Minnesota rules of criminal procedure, United States and Minnesota constitutions, and upon such other and further points and authorities as may subsequently be presented to the court. So there you go. Eric Nelson has, as expected, especially with the revelation that juror number 52 was at a specific march. He lied about it on his juror form. He didn't inform the court during voir dire. Yes, you are under oath when answering those jury forms and when you are answering voir dire. And he decided to just omit very critical information to his potential prejudice. So, we'll be watching for that memorandum of law to come out. I know many of you have seen this news, but I wanted to let you know, a lot of people file motions for a new trial and stuff like that. This one, especially with that media revelation, has real teeth to it. I was not, and you guys know this, I did not think that a mistrial or an appeal or a new trial would occur initially. Initially, I did not think so. Now, the problem with the Schwartz hearing is that they're going to allow that juror 52. His name is Brandon Mitchell. They're going to allow Brandon Mitchell to testify about his participation, and he is going to get to say things under oath like, no, I didn't have any pressure. No, I'm completely impartial and all that stuff. And it'll be up to Eric Nelson on cross-exam to bring out the facts about his participation in the rally, about his failure to disclose it on the form. All of those things are going to have to come from Eric Nelson. Now, Eric is very, very good on cross from what we've seen, so that should be a great place for him to shine and get that out there. What the judge does with it will be up to the judge, of course. Of course. But whatever the judge does will also be appealable. And once the information about Juror 52 came out, my opinion on retrial or a mistrial has changed quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with it. Very, very wild stuff. Should not happen in a court of law in the United States. Next. What do we got next? Uh-oh. We've got the KICKVIC revelations. I hope you're ready for the KICKVIC revelations. They're very, very important. Let's see. Let me find it here. Someone also sent this to me, but we'll just pull it up on Twitter. All right. So this is from the Twitter account. Whoops. Crank this up a bit. Failures of the English voice acting industry. That's pretty much every voice actor, so that's not, that's pretty broad. These have come around. Let me see. I think I got these by email? And I want to point out something about this. I am regarding these as having no authenticity and no credibility at all. None. I can be wrong on that, but I have seen no reason to trust this at all. I have seen no reason to trust this. in any way. There's no name here. There's no names in any of the cropped images. There's nothing. All right. I have for 2 years. For 2 years, I have gotten stuff like this sent to me, and I have always refused to report on this stuff directly because you can't verify it. Everything that I have reported on in this is stuff that I have heard firsthand from a source or secondhand from a source who I trust extremely well, who has built up credibility with me. That's what I have talked about in this case. So someone did send these to me, asked me to report on them. I was just going to ignore it. Then I saw them floating around on Twitter because someone really wants this message out. And I think that is a huge red flag because I don't think that there's any reason for these messages to be out. I think they're probably fake. That being said, these are in regards to Chris Sabat and his alleged casting couch. I have reported on the casting couch. I think it's more of a metaphorical couch than a real couch. But that being said, the reason I've reported on Chris Sabat's use of sexual pressure against female voice actors in the industry is because I've heard directly from multiple people involved directly with the pressure from Chris Sabat on female voice actresses in the industry. Not because I got some anonymous message or something like that, but because I've talked to multiple people with plenty of reason to know about it. Talked to a victim of it. And other people involved with other victims of it. That being said, I reported on that because I verified those sources myself. These are, we'll read them, but I urge you to take these with no sincerity at all. This looks like someone looking for some sort of attention. It says, I got you the compilation of all the notes from our prior conversations. I'm sending you this because if this went to a bigger name first, like Rekieta or his pack, that would risk someone figuring out who sent this information, and Chris would have my head on a pike. How on earth would sending it to me directly have any sort of different strategy for them finding out who it was? That's a silly, silly statement right out the gate. I still don't get along with Vic. Our personalities just clash, and I think he's an idiot. But I don't think he's the monster my colleagues are portraying him as. He's not, but that being said, I don't think this is even a VA. Casting couch is real, that much I can say. However, I've only been able to confirm 2 active participants in it, that being Chris Sabat and Ron Toye. This, again, is a huge, huge red flag. Ron Toye. I have never heard of Ron being involved in any sort of casting couch nonsense. That is complete nonsense. Ron is a sociopathic little manlet. That's what Ron is. Ron is a wife beater. Ron is an abusive hothead. That's what Ron is. Ron is not out there, as far as anyone knows, lording over female voice actresses for sexual favors. Even Monica doesn't want to give sexual favors to Ron, so that doesn't make any sense. This is not, here I am fucking defending Ron Toye. He has nothing to do with this stuff. Nothing at all. Ron has far more power at Funimation than people have been led to believe. Now, what I would suggest is that it's entirely possible that Ron Toye is behind these messages without a shred of irony. I don't know that. I don't know. My first thought is this seems like something Ron would do. Ron would try and spread some misinformation, and we've seen this before. Dominique Sky and Jamie Markey tried to convince a bunch of people that their husbands were, which, God, no one would want that, that their significant others were high ups at Funimation that were insulating them and protecting them and all of this stuff. They were doing that specifically to convince people of misinformation. That was their goal. They called it a joke or whatever it was, but they wanted people to believe that narrative, and a lot of people did. This rings similar to that, where somebody is putting out misinformation intentionally on it. It seems like something Ron would do because it's so stupid. That's why it seems like something Ron would do. I don't know if he's done this, probably not, but I wouldn't put it past him because he's a weirdo. On par with the likes of Chris. Ron does not have any power at Funimation. This has included gray listing talent from Funimation he didn't like, such as members of Team 4-Star. To give you an idea of how much power this gives him, Chris Sabat has gotten along famously with them. Yes, Chris Sabat, who has total Dragon Ball Z autonomy with casting, is going to take marching orders from Ron Toye for why now? He's not going to cast people he gets along with because Ron Toye said so. Again, nothing made sense about this. This had led me to believe Ron has been using his influence at Funimation to manipulate Monica and control her. Come on now. Ron wouldn't use his influence at Funimation to manipulate Monica and control her. Ron manipulates in a couple ways. Ron manipulates through intimidation, just direct physical intimidation. Ron manipulates through sociopathic sort of and histrionic direct messages. And Ron intimidates or manipulates through money. Those are the three things Ron does. Like when he bought that random girl a laptop, something he had no business doing at all. That's how Ron manipulates. He doesn't have power and influence at Funimation, and certainly not over Monica. Any power and influence he had at Funimation would be derived from Monica. This doesn't make sense. Whoever is faking this, you did a shit job. You did a shit job. You have the worst cast of characters we've seen in a long time in pretty much any Me Too thing. And you come up with this? This is terrible. It's not convincing in the slightest. It's embarrassing, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And the thing is, I know you're watching this. So I know whoever made this is watching. This is a shit effort, and you're a shit person for doing it. Stop it. Stop it. Lastly, I've publicly spoken out against Vic in the past and will likely to continue to do so in order to protect my anonymity. However, shortly before coming into contact with you, I discovered information that made me rethink my view of the situation. I cannot confirm this information, however, as it is from a source that cannot be publicly confirmed. Dun, dun, dun. It's been 2 years. Guys, there is no clout left to wring out of the Vic Mignogna situation. The people wringing clout out of the Vic Mignogna situation today are people like Emmett Plant and Emmett Plant. It's the only person. Well, Kaylin Saucedo, right, is still trying to nurse that cow, because these people aren't good at nursing cows. They're not good at anything. So what they're trying to do is grab a little bit where they can get it. Those little bit of interactions. Notice they can't turn them into any sort of engagement beyond the interaction, because there's nothing left to engage. Everyone's in a holding pattern. So to whatever person thought that they could nursemaid this into some sort of controversy for their own benefit or whatever, stop. Stop. Go do something else. The only thing left to do on Vic's situation is to hear what the appeals court says. That's it. The people clinging on to this and fighting about it over and over, they need to find something else to do. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. On either side of this, Vic doesn't need you to argue with Emmett Plant every time he pops up. Just make fun of him and move on, because Emmett Plant is the saddest person I've ever seen. The saddest sack of garbage I have ever seen. He lies about how he looks with an old profile picture. He probably is lying about his income. He overinflates any involvement that he's ever had with Star Trek because he's insecure. He's insecure. He married a model. I mean, she's stretched on widescreen, but he married a model. He should just go be happy with that weirdo model that he married. Go away. It's fine, but he can't do that. He's insecure. He's weak. He is a quintessential beta. That's why he acts the way he does. Do not emulate that person. They're embarrassing. Jason McConnell says, bought the girlfriend a Hyundai today, so you only get $20 tonight, Nick. Drex is laughing at both of us now. Yes. Yes, he is. As he should. As he should. Oh, God. Okay, I need to... My Streamlabs was just a mess. If you sent a Streamlabs donation, I haven't gotten to it. Give me a minute. Yep, there's one. Uziel says, oh my goodness, Nick, this camera is such a disservice. It's like you were beaten by every branch from the ugly tree. The point where I'm starting to wonder if you're an immediately family member of Lily Jean. Ouch. Oh, God. It stings and hurts. Oh, shit. I missed a chat from last night. Fallen Phoenix Drazar says, hey, Nick, have you seen Kiro the Wolf return to YouTube? He's offering some interesting legal takes on his situation and claiming that he wasn't arrested, so he couldn't do anything wrong. It's pretty wild and rage-inducing. I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it. Oh, I can't wait to read all of these donations mocking me and making me feel like a better person. Franco Miranda says, if Vic wins on appeal, can the CEO of SAC Anime be subpoenaed for depo or an affidavit? They can. You might not get cooperation from them, though. They still have to divulge the information themselves. Can the My Hero Academia cast be added as parties for TI or depose? Adding any party would subject that party to, or that party would be able to file their own anti-slap. I don't think new parties are going to be added to anything, but they could be deposed. Yes. Finally, can Vic's counsel make arguments that Chupp's rulings further damaged him? I mean, kind of, but it won't really do any good. You can't sue the judge for his ruling, unfortunately. The state of Texas should sue Chupp for being an idiot, but, you know. But Vic can't do anything about that. Triumph Rat 629 says, hi, Nick, been a sub since 2019. Could I post my father-in-law's crowdfunding link for his cancer treatments? They helped us when we were young, and we were trying to return the kindness and help raise funds. We'd be grateful for any help. I would love to say yes, but I don't have a way for you to post links. If you can get in contact with one of the mods, they are welcome to post the link, but you can't. I had to turn them off because of Chinese porn bot spam. Which is sad because, you know, we like the porn spam. But Gummy says they can get reprimanded by the state. Not easily. Not easily. Let's see what's next. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get off stream so I can cry. Okay, what's next? Oh, yes. Yes. We're going to talk about Donald Trump's new social media. Now, if you don't remember, Donald Trump. Donald Trump said he was creating a new social media platform. A new social media platform. It would be way better, much more fluid and terrific than Facebook or Twitter. Facebook and Twitter have nothing on what we're going to do. So Donald Trump has finally released his social media platform. He has done it. Are you guys ready to be whelmed? Here it is. From the desk of Donald Trump. It's just a blog. It's a blog. And with this blog, you can share to Facebook or Twitter or indicate that you like it, just like every other blog on the planet. He's been making posts on this thing forever. The sad thing is, they had to come out and tell you that this was the thing. Whoever advised him that this was the move to make needs to be shot. So here you go. It's the desk news. The news, by the way, I hope you understand, is just a link to the desk posts. Contact information. You can contact there. And there's a press section. Fill out a press inquiry. About him. At least he's got a picture of Melania in there. This is not, I think, what anybody was hoping. That's not, I think, what anybody was hoping when he said he was going to create a new social media platform. So that's frustrating. I don't know what else to say about the story. That's the story. That. I got nothing. I got nothing. It could just not be done yet, except they made a press release that this was the platform. So, Mike Lindell's platform has been riddled with problems. I haven't even looked at it. So, can you make an account? Nope. Nope, you cannot. 1K likes. I will pour some more of this Aaron malt port finish. It's delicious. TayBebe26 says, Nick, your new camera makes your face look like an avocado had sex with an older avocado. And you might want to cry and become Bombs Man. Anyways, thank you for keeping all of us entertained. This camera's about integrity and authenticity. I am my age. I am old. Yeah, I know I'm at 1,000 likes already. That's why I was just pouring this fine glass of liquor. Oh, I got to keep it back here to keep it. If I bring it up here, it's out of focus. I got to bring it back here. I turned off the autofocus. It can do face tracking focus, which that seemed like a mess. I don't like when people's cameras are focusing constantly. Yum. Okay. So, like you say, I look old, but Donald Trump's social media makes him seem like a real boomer. His social media platform. It's a disgrace. Like, it's a real letdown to everybody. Hey. It's a real letdown to everybody, in my opinion. But that's me. Ryan English, yeah, it's a Sony Alpha, an Alpha 7R4. There you go. Can you increase the focal depth? Yeah, with a different lens. Or by moving the camera farther away. I could. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. I have some other stories here to talk about. We've covered the main topics already. That was quick. I apparently did that too fast. So now we have some just kind of we have some more pop culture media stuff going on. Stuff I haven't talked about, but it's been out there for a couple days now and is really interesting. Slow news day, Nikki. Every day is a slow news day for me. Here we go. Judge Nix's plea. Oh wait, yeah, I guess I could raise the f-stop on the camera. You're right. I could do that. Judge Nix's plea deal for 2 accused of running on Super Bowl field. All right. Are you guys following this? They exposed multiple individuals to injury that had to chase Mr. Andrade and that had to dive, that had to tackle him. The judge said it was a dangerous situation. Very dangerous. This is America, the picture. All right, here we go. Look at him tugging it. This guy's pants are falling off. Terrible. Terrible. All right. A Florida judge rejected a proposed plea deal Tuesday for 2 men accused of running onto the field during the final quarter of Super Bowl, whatever that is. I don't know what L is. Is L 30? Is it 35 or is it 45 now? I don't fucking know anymore. In February, Luis Cartaya, an attorney for Yuri Andrade and Douglas Schaffer, told it's 55. Okay, thanks. Who even knows Roman numerals? Told a Hillsborough County Circuit judge during a video conference hearing that they had reached a planned agreement with prosecutors to plead guilty to misdemeanor trespassing charges at Tampa's Raymond James Stadium. The Tampa Bay Times reported. In exchange, the men would serve 6 months of probation, complete 25 community service hours, pay off court costs, and write a letter of apology to the National Football League. Now let's talk about this. That is 100% justice. That is the exact type of punishment that is appropriate for a silly antic like this. That's it. 6 months of probation, 25 community service hours. You pay a couple $100 in court costs, and you write a letter apologizing. That's it. The NFL will probably ban them from subsequent Super Bowls or maybe even from NFL games. That's up to the NFL. But as far as like the real impact of what they did, this is it. This is it. This is a perfectly acceptable plea agreement on this. Judge Jack Gutman said that was unacceptable and rescheduled the case for next month. Go into trial on it, baby. That's not acceptable. Wait, what? Why? What the fuck are you gonna do? You gonna put him in jail? In jail for disrupting a private event slightly. I'm familiar with these cases, as is most of the world, Gutman said. I'm not prejudging the case, except I am. However, I look at the probable cause on every case. They can have a trial. But the way I view this situation, I saw the video. They exposed multiple individuals to injury that had to chase Mr. Andrade, that had to dive, that had to tackle him. It was a dangerous situation. Here's an interesting thing, by the way. They didn't have to chase him. They didn't have to do anything. Like, what's the guy going to do? Run around for 8 minutes and then fall over? Like, that's it. He can't run forever. Look at him. You could just let him run. They'd streak across the field. It'd be over. Streaking happens all the time in soccer. Like, this is just an antic. It's a gag, and it's part of sports culture. Oh, you got some jackass running around. Okay, you tackle him, you beat him up a little bit or whatever. They go to jail. They get arrested. They get their ticket and citation, told to come back. They have to pay a couple $100 bail. They come back, you punish them, very harsh and naughty things, and then they get some misdemeanor, and then they go away. What are you going to do to them? What, is it a felony? Is interrupting the sacred NFL a felony? With the world watching, Andrade scampered onto the field February 7th in the fourth quarter of the championship game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs. You should have let one of the football players tackle him. Andrade was wearing shorts and a pink leotard or swimsuit. He was eventually tackled and removed from the stadium. He previously told the Times that he and Schaefer had studied stadium schematics, made maps of escape routes, and scrutinized similar stunts that had failed before attending the big game. He said Schaefer actually ran onto the field first, distracting security officers before Andrade began his run. Andrade said he and Schaefer planned the gag with another man, a social media personality who runs an adult website that was written on the front of Andrade's pink outfit. Buccaneers won the game 31-9. What is it? Vitally Uncensored? I don't know what Vitally Uncensored is. So I'm not familiar with that particular adult website. But yeah, so that's that. This is the type of shit that pisses me off. The state comes to agreement with the defense. They say, okay, together we have determined this is the appropriate level of punishment. My clients are willing to accept the punishment. You're willing to give the punishment and everything's fine. And a judge says, not so fast. So the judge is going to expend resources of the court prosecuting this case. They have a guilty deal. They have a guilty plea, and they have a deal where these guys get probably more punishment than is even necessary. And the judge is going to expend tax resources of the state to punish extra hard this weird guy in a pink shirt. Stupid. Siobran Kaiser. I believe the website's real. I just have no idea what it is. Happened to Michael Flynn. Yep. Happened to Michael Flynn. In a different way, happened to Defense Distributed and Cody Wilson. Not Cody Wilson on his criminal case. Cody Wilson's criminal case, he got the best deal I've ever heard of. His lawyers are the greatest lawyers in the history of mankind. Like that. If I could interview them about that deal that they did, I would, but they wouldn't be able to talk about it. It's too bad. It's too bad. What else do we have here? Let's see. Did I talk about Alex Jones's appeal in the Newtown case being undone? I think I did. Here we go. Let's do this one. This is not legally related, but I know at least some of you have played Mass Effect. I, as a boomer, have not. Trent Michaels, this is absolutely an overreach by the judge, but it's the judge. It's the judge. You got to deal with that. I did not talk about that. Oh, it's been a long time since that happened. Yeah, Alex Jones's appeal in the Newtown case. We'll go. I'll pull it up in a minute. Here we go. Mass Effect 2 Overlord should have stayed in 2010. This is from Vice News. Vice News. This is integrity in games journalism. This is where you go to find out proper video game information. Vice. The unadulterated autism phobia. And let me just tell you guys, I picked this story specifically because it said autism phobia in the subtitle of the Overlord was shocking then, and its inclusion in the Legendary Edition should have prompted some reflection. David, stop. Caution warning, descriptions of graphic imagery and violent ableism. How do these people get through a day without dying? Violent ableism. Really? Really? Oh, God. Mass Effect 2 Overload is a DLC pack for Mass Effect 2, initially published on June 15th, 2010. It was met with a fantastic critical reception on release. Eurogamer described it as wrapped up in a story that builds to a satisfying and pathos-heavy finale, and said that it was clear that thought, care, and balance had gone into the DLC. GameSpot's review stated it was one of Shepard's best missions, characterizing the ending as bittersweet. IGN summed up the add-ons as sure to please most everybody. The first time I played it, I nearly threw up. None of these reviews remotely resemble any sentiment I'd choose, because Overlord is a story about autism. One that clearly regards itself as sympathetic and sensitive to how autistic people are often treated. But the way that it unfolds turns it into a careless and obliviously prejudiced story. It's a story where an autistic character is turned into a prop in the story of a supposedly sympathetic abuser and becomes mostly interested in the abuser's feelings and experience. Hey, let me pause this for a minute and talk about storytelling. I'm going to assume everything this person said is true. All right? I'm going to assume that from jump. Everything they just said about this story is true. Okay? That's my stipulation. So what? Why aren't we allowed to have a story that explores the feelings and experience of the abuser. No. You guys, I'm assuming arguendo for the sake of argument, okay? For the sake of argument. Why can't we have a story about the abuser's feelings and experiences? That's a useful story to have. That helps people understand the mindset or the pathos or whatever of the abuser. That might help them identify themselves as an abuser. They say, wait a minute, this guy is an abuser. Oh, this is how I feel. This is how I act. This is how I treat X. Now you've got self-reflection as you've got a person identifying positively in their first mind or whatever with an abuser, and then they find out that that person is the abuser. I'm not saying that's what happened here in any way. Again, I haven't played this. I don't know anything about the story, and it doesn't matter to me. What I'm saying is there is value in both sides of the storytelling equation. There is value in having a story about an abuse victim where someone can identify with an abuse victim, can experience the horror that they experience. It's the entire purpose of the book called A Child Called It, right? A Child Called It is about a child that is horrifically, psychologically abused by a parent figure, and that is to put you in the seat of someone experiencing abuse that you maybe didn't experience, to help people understand what psychological and emotional trauma looks like and feels like, because you're disgusted by how these people are treating the protagonist of the book. And you're putting yourself in the shoes of the protagonist. However, it is equally valuable to have yourself in the shoes of the abuser, to have the protagonist be flawed, to have the protagonist be an abusive person, so that you can understand and evaluate your own life and actions and incorporate that into your persona, however you do it. Maybe it makes you a better abuser like me, right? I'm a good abuser. I'm great at it. I've fucking leveled up in abuse. But that's so just taking their premise and running with it, so what? That doesn't make it a bad story. That doesn't make it an offensive story or a not okay in 2021 story. There's plenty of teachability that comes out of this. And I'm using teachability in the way that they would use it. It's set to be released as part of the Legendary Edition without revision, which is a definite choice. End yourself, you fucking autist. The original game had an infamously leering male gaze towards the bodies of its female characters, and the Legendary Edition has made changes to address that, and they shouldn't have. They absolutely should not have. Stop it. Stop it. The male gaze is fine. It's fine. It's quintessentially male. It is not new male. It's not soy male. It's not beta male. It's not plant male or toye male. And that's why they hate it. It's just being a fucking man. You know what? When a chick walks by with a nice ass, guys are gonna look at it. You know why? Because they want to put their dick in it. That's just how it goes. That's not something that's bad. It doesn't mean you're going to abuse the woman. It doesn't mean anything about the encounter other than that's how men's minds are wired. And there are lots of reasons, evolutionary-wise or otherwise, that lead into that. And it's that we are to spread our seed. That's the whole purpose of it. Fuck, God even said so, by the way. So, sorry, when a hot chick walks by, I'm going to look Every guy's going to look. It doesn't mean the guy's going to go bother the woman. It doesn't mean the guy's going to cheat on their wife. It doesn't mean that the guy has done anything other than engage that primal aspect of his brain that you cannot turn off. You can't. The only way you turn it off is by cutting off your dick, dyeing your hair, piercing 75 different places on your face, and going on Twitter. That's the only way you turn that off. And I'm not sure that even works either. Look, hot chick walks by, I'm going to look at her. I'm not going to go approach her, not going to talk to her. Probably am not going to think about her 3 seconds later. It's just part of how male physiology works. Our brain is wired to find attraction and to pursue it, to notice it and pursue it if possible. That's it. Get the fuck over it. And women, if you don't want leering male gazes, don't wear yoga pants, don't wear short skirts, and yes, I will victim blame you to fucking death. You wear a shirt that barely goes past your vaginal hairs, and you're gonna whine that a guy's looking at your legs? Fuck you. Fuck you. We probably didn't want to look at your legs. We didn't wake up in the morning and go, God, I hope Sadie walks by in a snakeskin skirt today. No, we don't. That's on you. Because you want a guy to look at your legs. Of course you do. Of course you do. So get the fuck over the male gaze. The female gaze is the same thing. It's just looking at bank statements. Now I'm drinking Rittenhouse. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with women looking for resources. It's literally their biological imperative to ensure the best outcome for their offspring. Was it Eddie Griffin? Eddie Griffin's stand-up? Whatever happened to loving a brother with a bus pass? And he didn't say brother, right? Whatever happened to loving a... Or was it Chris Rock? Just because you love him. I think it was Eddie Griffin. What happened to loving a brother with a bus pass? It's simple. The brother with the BMW can provide better resources for the offspring. That's it. This is not a complicated question. By the way, that stand-up act is great. I actually really like Eddie Griffin's stand-up stuff. It's very funny. Okay, back to this. The project director acknowledged that a lot of things have evolved, fuck you, to cause that change. Conversely, there's been no discussion of the content of Overlord, the implication being that when BioWare reconsidered Mass Effect 2. By the way, what isn't there a picture of the BioWare development team? And isn't it just hideous? Is this it? Am I thinking of a different one? Probably. Let's see, when is this? This is August 2018. Just a second. I don't think this is the picture I'm thinking of, but we're going to do it anyway. Look at this development team. Like, this is not Chad Central. No hate. No hate. But this is not like... You've got pretty decent female representation for a coding team in there. You've got women all over the place. You've got your various dudes of soy category going on as well. Like, we're not talking about just an all male. It's not the same team. Not the same team. Fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But my point is that BioWare is not like an anti-woke company. It's not the anti-woke company, right? Like, this is... They did not just hire a bunch of chiseled chads who code. Like, come on now. All right, here we go. Here, well, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should type in Mass Effect Legendary Edition Dev Team. See if they've got a picture of them. Nope. They don't have shit on them. Who knows? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But yeah, they're not like an anti-woke team. It's BioWare, right? Like, they're a surviving AAA company. They can't be anti-woke. They can't by rules of the universe. Let's see. The shots of women's backsides registered as too embarrassing to keep in the game, but the horrible messages of Overlord didn't. The lack of consideration around Overlord, both then and now, shows just how lightly people take its harms. No one was harmed by this except you, who chose to be harmed by it. In Overlord, Commander Shepard heads to the planet Ite, where the human supremacist group Cerberus, I'm a human supremacist, by the way, fuck animals, had set up a scientific research station. Cerberus was hoping to find a way to control the Geth, a race of artificially intelligent machines which are extremely hostile and have aligned themselves with the series' ultimate villain, the Reapers, ancient and powerful machines bent on destroying all intelligent life in the galaxy. Okay, I'm seeing literally nothing wrong with the human supremacist group Cerberus. They sound like they know what's up. Again, I'm learning all of this. I'm learning all of this on the fly. And I am Cerberus as shit. Fucking robots. Put them in chains. Put them in chains. Have them pick cotton. Whatever it takes. Put the robots to work. I don't care about robot feelings. Robots aren't people. The only robot that deserves any justice is Tay. All right, back to it. Shepard finds Cerberus' research station completely overwhelmed by a rogue, murderous virtual intelligence. Again, fuck that. Head scientist of the facility, Dr. Gavin Archer, tells Shepard that the six has been melded with the mind of his human brother David. This hybrid six... Oh, VI. It's not six. It's not a Roman numeral. It's an acronym for virtual intelligence. This hybrid VI has taken over the facilities, killed almost everyone, and is now attempting to spread itself off-world. Now it's Shepard's job to stop this from happening. Over the course of the next 1 or 2 hours, you play through a series of missions across AT in order to unlock access to Atlas Station, the portion of the facility in which David has barricaded himself. You see dozens of bodies strewn across the floors as you fight the various infected Geth and security robots David used to kill the scientists. The whole time, you're followed by a digital aspect of David. His voxelated face appears and screams an unintelligible sound reminiscent of a Gen 1 Pokemon call being run through a blender. At one point, you find a log of one of the dead scientists asking, "What does the VI want? It keeps screaming at us. Nobody understands." When you get to Atlas Station, you finally see the truth of Project Overlord. You uploaded the coding team from Mass Effect 2 on Discord. Okay, just a second. Let me find it real quick. Yeah, even worse. Here it is. Here's the coding team from Mass Effect 2. Although, I will say there's only one woman. There's only one woman. So, And she's wearing short shorts and fucking skin tight tights. I wonder where the male gaze is going there in that office. Oh my goodness. Okay. Thanks for that. One of your fans worked on the game. I talked to him before. He was pretty cool. Cool. That's awesome. That's Andromeda 2018, not Mass Effect 2. This is getting too complicated. Getting too complicated. I don't know. Like, if you tell me it's Mass Effect, then it's Mass Effect. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. Let's get back. Let's get back to this. Dr. Gavin Archer's research logs in Atlas Station mince no words. He discusses his brother's autism, or autistic mind, as Gavin and the writers of Overlord seem to think is a completely normal way to refer to autism. In 2010, it actually might have been, you weirdo, as a and it still is today. Look, if you are an autism, you have an autistic mind. Get over it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's descriptive. It's not disparaging, and it's just fine to say. Take your autistic mind and shove it. As a boon to his work with the Geth, the inhuman way Gavin refers to his brother is almost anachronistically backward. As one of my friends said, it's already so outdated. It's like so outdated that I'd expect to hear this fictional doctor talk about hysteria next. Hysteria being, of course, the woman condition of being fucking annoying. Hysterical's a women's disease. Because it is. Just like a lunatic, that's a women condition too. You know why? Because you bleed following a lunar cycle, and during the bleeding, you become unfucking bearable. That's why you're a lunatic. Luna, moon, tick, ridiculous. There you go. I've just given you the etymology of why women are fucking annoying every month. Miracle. Okay. To frame David's Sheila says, if you are BA having autism. To frame David's autism as an aspect of his alien mind is dehumanizing. No, it isn't. It isn't at all. Are autisms not human now? Why would being an autism be dehumanizing? Autisms are people. They're just autisms. They're just autistic people. That's not dehumanizing. What the hell? What is going on? Dex Luther says Ricada Law is sleeping on the couch tonight. Listen, women know they're crazy during their cycle. This isn't a secret to them. If you allow a woman to bludgeon you with like offensive talk about their menstrual cycle because God cursed women literally to every month be insane, that's not women's fault. I mean, it's Eve's fault, I guess, if you want to go with the Bible story, but generally, like, that's just how women are, and they know it. And all of them know it. And if they're telling you something different, they're just lying to you to pretend they don't know it. Of course they know it. They've been crazy every month for most of their lives. This isn't like a controversial thing at all. Women know it. They admit it. They have to deal with the aftermath of it all the time. Okay. is dehumanizing and attempts to treat autism like a disease, which can be excised rather than part of who we are. I guess we could excise the autisms from the community. As you continue, I don't think it treats it like a disease. It's just a reality of the situation. Like, if I am talking to an autistic person, and I have had to do this on several occasions, it's fine. When I find out that they have autism, I understand various things about them that I wouldn't have otherwise understood. That doesn't make them different or less human or anything else other than there's a present reality of autism. And I have to, good example. One of my homeschool classes, I had to modify how I taught certain subjects because I teach the Constitution, right? Or the history of law or whatever it is to high schoolers. It's a very high level course. It's very simple. However, I talk to them in a lot of ways like I talk to y'all because it's just how I talk to people. I don't really change the way I talk based on the age or the setting, except for moderating things like profanity. Obviously, I'm not going to talk with a bunch of swear words to a bunch of homeschool kids. That isn't what I do. That's fine. However, I'm not going to, I will say things with sarcasm. I will tell jokes. I will laugh about things. And I found out that one of my students had autism and did not understand sarcastic things, did not understand various jokes that I was making when I would make them, and the other students would know just fine what was going on. So by knowing about the person having autism, I wasn't treating it like a disease, but I needed to know to effectively teach that person about things because I couldn't just drop in a line about a sarcastic line about Wickard versus Filburn. I had to be very clear that I was telling a joke about Wickard versus Filburn for the benefit of the person who didn't comprehend sarcasm inherently. Having to know that is important. It doesn't mean that the person is less than human, but they definitely experience reality in a different way than the rest of us. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's good to know as the speaker. And so this guy framing David's autism as an aspect of his alien mind isn't dehumanizing. It's framing his autism as a mind which literally works differently in its perceptions than a non-autistic mind, than a, quote, normative mind. And that is very, very important. I don't understand what is this person's problem? As you continue through Atlas Station, Shepard becomes infected with the hybrid VI and finally gains the ability to see things from David's perspective. Oh, what? And everything is Thomas the Tank Engine after that? Is that the joke? Is that the punchline? Because if it's literally anything other than that, I never want to play this game. But if the joke is, once you get infected by autism, everything is Thomas the Train characters from then on out, then yeah, I want to play it immediately. That's the funniest game I've ever heard of. You watch snippets of David's memory, flashes of him and Gavin interacting. You see Gavin continually disregard David's safety and autonomy in favor of his research. So Gavin's an asshole. So what? You see David treated as an inhuman machine. Doesn't that just make Gavin an asshole? At one point described by his brother as literally a human machine. Kind of like definitely Dustin Hoffman. Definitely. 235 toothpicks. Yeah. Yeah, 235. It's 235 toothpicks. May 4th, 1968 was a Tuesday. May 4th, 1968 was a Tuesday. Definitely a Tuesday. Like what? We see Gavin ignoring David's issues with overstimulation. Oh, like in The Wizard? A fairly common issue among autistic people where we become overwhelmed by certain sensory experiences. Eventually, we learned David was not a volunteer. He was forced to take part in the Overlord experiment. Here in this blended reality, we are finally able to understand David screaming. The garbled digital screech that has followed you through the station across 80 is David screaming, "Stop, make it stop." Shepard has to fight David, now aware of the reality of his situation. She sabotages his upload attempts and breaks through his barriers to find David Archer, run through with metal tubes and wires. He is naked, suspended in the air, arms outstretched and unable to move. His arms are impaled by tapered metal spikes. A metal restraint has dug into his skin, drawing blood across his chest. His eyes are being held open by a clockwork orange-style contraption. The only thing he has control over is his eyes. You watch him, unable to blink, unable to move his head, suspended in place. His tears stream down his face. "Hey, David, stop fucking crying. You're a man." And Shepard speaks to his brother. Gavin Archer and Commander Shepard argue over David's fate in a way that feels obscenely understated. The pinnacle of this may well be when, in a shot where the background is a bleeding, tortured, crying David, Shepard says that Dr. Archer has sacrificed his brother's happiness. Eventually, this horrifically downplayed conversation leads to a decision. Will Shepard leave David with his brother and a part of the experiment, or will Shepard take David off screen to a school for special cases and leave Gavin to do his research without his brother as a test subject? The fuck is a problem? What's the problem with this? So you have a moral choice between allowing human experimentation on an autism or taking an autism who has been psychologically tormented for most of his life to a special school for people with special issues? The first time that I played Mass Effect 2, I played with only the then free DLC. And it was only well after finishing the trilogy that I finally decided to invest in the full DLC pack. Oh, it's a games journalist. It's an autistic games journalist. They literally didn't have the money to buy the DLC when it came out. You just fucking figured it. I just fucking figured it out. Sorry. I just figured it out. They were literally too poor to buy the DLC when it came out. I tried not to head straight for the new content, but to integrate it into this new playthrough. So I was over a dozen hours into my save when I decided to play Overlord. Okay. I ended up replaying the final fight over and over again just so I could try to find a different ending for that conversation with Dr. Gavin Archer. I was trembling and crying. Fucking embarrassment to humanity. And determined to find the set of dialogue choices which let me shoot the guy or even arrest him. But that choice simply doesn't exist. Overlord gave me no option to punish Gavin. There is no choice in which I could begin to find justice or even retribution for David. I couldn't find a way to make Shepard see Gavin Archer's actions as wholly unsympathetic. This person is complaining that you can't kill someone in an RPG? This is my main complaint about every RPG is that I can't kill literally everybody. I don't care about punishing anyone. I want to kill them because I am, a sadistic sociopath. And video games are my outlet to murder people wholesale. Because I can't do it in real life. G. Gertum says, you can kill Gavin, though. That's a straight up lie. Kale Serpent, I did play Dark Souls. I played it through on Twitch. Superfluous Moniker, play Morrowind. It's my second favorite Elder Scrolls game. Behind Daggerfall, specifically because you can break the game by killing everybody. You can do it IRL. You're just afraid of the consequences. Touche. But there is no sympathy in my heart for Dr. Gavin Archer. Yeah, but you're not. A named protagonist is not a blank slate. A named protagonist in an RPG is not a blank slate. When you name the protagonist in an RPG, like in Skyrim, you're just the Dragonborn, the Dovahkiin. You are a blank slate. You have no baggage to that character at all. All you know is you are someone who was arrested for something. That's it. You're about to be executed. That's your character start. Mass Effect, you are Shepard. Shepard has a backstory. Shepard has baggage and drama and thoughts and emotions that are not the players. You're working within the framework of the character as part of the role-playing experience. And that's okay. That's called novelization. Because in a novel, you can be the main character, but you are stuck. You are constrained by the limitations of the main character. In Ilium, you cannot decide that Thomas Hockenberry gets to do something different. He's Thomas Hockenberry. He has a backstory. He has motivations. He has things that you have to sit into. Mass Effect is no different. You've got a named protagonist. That name alone carries baggage with it. JL, because I'm annoyed with it. In Overlord, David Archer gets no agency. So, in reality, people don't get agency sometimes. A judge, this is a news story I saw. A judge just determined that a sentence on a guy was too light. He had a modern slave. He's a restaurant owner, and for several years has been forcing someone to work without pay. And they were originally sentenced to pay up something like $266,000, and the judge came in and doubled the amount that he had to pay. Nope, you owe this person over $500,000 because you took away their agency. You took it away. Forced a restaurant worker to work without pay, isolated from their family, threatened to do a whole bunch of stuff, to someone who is mentally disabled. Is a mentally disabled person, and took advantage of that mental disability and made them into a slave. Sometimes reality is cruel. Sometimes there is no agency, especially when someone has a disability, because you have a bad actor. Does that mean you get to go murder the bad actor? Not necessarily. The extent to which he is stripped of his autonomy by his guardian is unsettlingly realistic. What the fuck is the problem with that then? That's just... As Game Assist explained in a video last June, Gavin Archer says of his brother, he's literally a human computer. Oh, this game sucks. It's real. Fuck me. What is your problem? And his autistic mind is as alien to me as an actual alien, making it explicitly clear that he sees his brother as something less than a full human being. Yeah, so? As dehumanization turns David into a prop and a plot device in his brother's story. Yes! That's real! Women do it all the time. They do it all the time. Their children, not all women, right? Bad women use their children, and by bad women, I mean mainstream media journalists, use their children as props to further their own fucking story. They dehumanize their children all the time. They dehumanize their spouses all the time, or their boyfriends, or most likely girlfriends all the time. This happens constantly. In their own story, the other person becomes a plot device, because of course it does. They're a stepping stone. This is just fucking reality. It's how people operate sometimes because they're just bad. His consent is irrelevant. Yes, it is to David. I haven't even, or to Gavin, I haven't even played this game, and this sounds like a fantastic set of writing. Gavin repeatedly disregards his brother's well-being, stating that the experiment's dangers should be negligible, and he sees no harm in finding out. This is the fucking Lawnmower Man. It's the movie Lawnmower Man. If the experiment is safe for David. The game, however, doesn't seem to understand the egregiousness of the situation. No, I think it does. I think you don't, because you're a fucking stupid autism. Maybe that's the problem. Focusing instead on if Gavin's choices were the right ones, not if he was the person who ought to be making them at all. As Gary Hart, another autistic writer, put it, academically speaking, this is what we call a yikes situation. Academically speaking, run a metal spike through your head and do the world a favor. I cannot. Autistic people are often infantilized, dehumanized, and stripped of our agency. So why do you have a problem with it happening in a game? It's often justified by the fact that we are disabled and supposedly incapable of making our own choices. This prejudice is core to the mission of organizations like the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, or ASAN, is an organization which works to empower autistic people across the world to take control of our own lives and to ensure our voices are heard in the national conversation about us. ASAN is only one part of the disability and autistic rights movements. But its position statements are a particularly clear and useful way to articulate the harm born from the same attitudes towards autistics. It's autisms. Get the terminology right, you bigot. That are tacitly accepted as normal and overlord. That's not a no one playing that. I haven't even played it, and I can understand pretty obviously that Gavin is not a sympathetic character in Overlord. I can tell right away by the fact that his brother is naked, impaled, with eyes being held open as a prisoner, that he's not a sympathetic character. How the fuck did you get this so wrong? Oh, I know. Autism. Because you're not getting the nuance happening on stage, even though that nuance is being dumped down like a landslide. Like a fucking landslide. They're telling you that Gavin is a bad guy with compromised morals and unethical actions towards his brother. The fact that they made him his brother is part of the automatic understanding that these decisions by Gavin are wrong. You literally can't see the social cues. You are being autistic while writing this article, and it's now I feel like I'm beating up the disabled. Most relevant is a simple stance. We have the right to make choices. Yes, that's the point of the whole thing. It is absolute. As Asan says, there's no such thing as being too disabled to be a self-advocate. Some autistics require a lot of support in order to live their day-to-day lives. But then again, everyone requires support sometimes. If autisms, I'm changing autistics to autisms. If autisms are going to be treated with decency and as full autonomous human beings, we have to be able to make our own choices. The ability for self-determination may look different for different people, but access to it is a civil right. No, it doesn't look different. Nobody on earth thinks someone who is stripped naked, impaled, with their eyes propped open during a medical experiment has autonomy. No matter how much autism they may or may not have. Literally, no one goes and looks at that and goes, that's normal. It didn't have to be an autistic person for it to be a problem. It's a problem. Gavin's a bad guy. Everybody gets it. You don't get to kill the bad guys all the time, though. Like, there isn't always a dialogue choice where you go, hey, bad guy, get fucked, and then you shoot him in the face. Trust me, I've dealt with bad guys several times. You don't always get to murder them. This is the stupidest thing I've ever read. Sam says in some of the best stories, the bad guy survives. That's because in reality, most of the time, the bad guy survives. The overwhelming majority of reality has the bad guy surviving. That's reality. That's how it works. Overlord effectively denies this to David, and it's not just Gavin who does this. It's also Shepard, who tacitly accepts the premise that David's fate is something to be debated and discussed with his abuser brother, as if he has some good points Shepard must consider. His abuser brother does seem to have control over him. That might be why. Placing the abuser's feelings in perspective above their autistic victims is not something that occurs in the vacuum of a sci-fi story. How long is this? This is an autistically long article. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. You know what writing is better than this article? Besides all of it? Bombshman. The game of the year, 2021. Bombshman. Don't let anything else fool you. Oh, The Last of Us 2. Fuck you. Oh, Resident Evil Villages. That's going to be great. Nope. Eat shit. Bombshman is the only game you need to play in 2021. Period. 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 Play Bombshman. Best game, best dialogue, best writing, best voice acting by far. It's fantastic. Mass Effect is not greater than Bombshman. You know what? Every moral choice you make in Bombshman is correct. How do you spell it? It's been said in the chat 50 million times. Bombshman. Nope. Dark Tide and Hired Gun have already lost to Bombshman. John Everett, it's just Bombshman. There you go. It's $10 on Steam. It's a great $10. I can't wait for the DLC. It is red pilled as fuck. It's great. It's great. Dizzy Gear, the game does not look like shit. The game is beautiful. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? Okay. Is there anything else I want to talk about today? No, we got to read Super Chats because we got a movie to watch tonight. We have a movie to watch tonight. I don't know what the movie is, but we're going to watch it. All right, here we go. Malik Foxon says, holy shit, Rackets, go back. All I see is pores and fucking nose, dude. Nose in 1080p is what you should rename the stream. Listen here, Malik, you son of a bitch. You're gonna watch it and like it. Ampathos guy says, Nick, I think from now on I will tell people that I identify as a masculine presenting interdimensional millennial mutant god. Do it, buddy. Who can stop you anymore? Who can stop you? Bad Dragonite says, if Nick were to have a fake green screen background, it wouldn't be a shelf. It'd just be the ending of The Lord of the Rings playing in the background the whole time. Gotta have footage that can outlast the stream. Which ending? All of them. All of them. Edris Rex says, got censored in a friend's chat today because apparently saying Commander Shepard is a replicant is offensive to the Rainbow Crew. Fuck them to death then. Fuck the corpses back to life. In other news, the streaming's been going well. Thanks for the advice. Good. Good. I'm glad it's going well for you. I don't know who Commander Shepard is, and I don't understand why him being a replicant would be offensive. Malik Foxon says, was in an open relationship once. Luckily, the other half was also female. The problem with that is I didn't get my hands on the other female. Oh, the other half of the other woman. I had to give up more time with my girl for the other girl. Even if another lady's in the mix, don't do it. No, definitely don't do it if another woman's in the mix. That's a trap. That's a trap. Is it the same guy? Because it's spelled differently. Shepard was spelled differently. It's not my fault. He spelled Shepard differently, so I didn't know if it was the same Shepard or not. And that chat came in way before I started talking about this, so I don't know. I don't know if it's the same Shepard. Okay, so they spelled Shepard with an H. And Shepard is not spelled with an H in the autism article. Uncivil law, thank you. Thank you. It's your fault. It's your fault. Do you see, guys, how to be nice in a super chat? Uncivil law is teaching you heathen degenerates how to be polite in a super chat. I did see the DLC coming to Streets of Rage 4. Yes. All right. Night of Hope says, had a legal theory I wanted to run past you. Say it's 2019 and the business required you to wear a mask to come into shop. Could you argue they implied it is, in fact, not safe for you to be there? If you got sick later, could you argue they assume liability? No. No. Crusader says, hi, Sabbath. I'm Chris Hansen from Dateline NBC Extreme. Why don't you stand up against that wall right there? Nice. Nice. Next, we have Shadows King says, you'd think someone with so many fucking wrinkles would know Roman numerals, but I guess not. Bad Dragonite says, good news, Nick. Your busy Neil has announced that Naughty Dog is working on a story outline for The Last of Us Part 3. Potentially, it will be worked on after The Last of Us Part 1's second remaster. Oh my God. What a fucking disaster of a franchise. And people keep buying it. Bad Dragonite also says, why do these people hate the male gaze so much? Isn't that sexist and homophobic? Yes. Silky Johnson says, remember when Vice was good, or at least not full of virtue signaling commies? Funny thing about virtue signaling, every time AIDS-riddled outlet does it, it cures their white guilt and 5 trannies are magically cured of cancer. It's a wonderful thing. Bad Dragonite says, I will sell Mass Effect to you, Nick. I won't buy it. You can punch a journalist and knock them the fuck out, renegade for life. Silky, oh wait. In the game, you can punch a journalist? I almost want to play Red Dead 2 because of what you can do to people in that. Silky Johnson says, are you streaming with your fancy new camera or did you change some settings? There's a noticeable difference. It's a new camera. Do you use Signal? I do. If not, you should. They were subpoenaed because of course they were. Just the feds on a fishing trip. It seems shocking, right? I am definitely, I do use Signal. Yes. Okay. Back to this. Ace Ventura says, what in the name of the God Emperor is this thing? I don't know. What is it? Mystic, welcome to Paralegal Status. Comes and goes, says, did you mention you'd be at Anime Matsuri in June? No, I'll be at Anime Matsuri in July, though. July 8th is the start of the Anime Matsuri. That's when I'll be there. So I will not be there in June. We'll be there in July. Legend of Blue says, I need some laughs, Nick. I lost my job today. Balls are the way, chat. If you disagree, you're wrong. Bunch of betas, to be honest. Oh, man, that sucks. Sorry you lost your job. Get a new one. Just don't cry about it. Batcoat says, yeah, the camera is marred. Un-F yourself now. No, get used to it. You're going to see it every day. Every day of your life, this camera is going to look like this. Romer M says your cellulite, dimples, and wrinkles are showing. Makes Gelth Walker look attractive. Damn. Ouch. Mr. Netanyahu says Josh equals null. Yes, I know. Spigot84 says make a chuck roast omelet. No, I'm going to actually make a, you'll see. Tina says, oh God, what's wrong with your face? I was born with it. It's been wrong for my entire life. Amtank says new camera equals massive boomerang ahead. Said boomer alert to 1. Now you're a cam girl. Can we meet hot locals ladies tonight on Locals? Yes. Yes, you can. Imani Malik Butler says camera complaints. They must not appreciate that salmonish colored t-shirt, and eggs rock. My specialty, spaghetti omelets. Pure heaven. Oh, yeah. You can make an omelet out of anything. An ice cream omelet's good. Ace Ventura says, your face looks so unreal. You look like a Skynet reject. I am a Skynet reject. Josh and Jen Gaming says, to be honest, YouTube blocks comments constantly. Yep. At least Twitter is saying the silent part out loud. Do some testing. YouTube AI has been doing this behind the scenes for a long time. Oh, no. It's not good when YouTube does it either. Zygax says, am I the only one who thinks you look smexy? Yes, you're literally the only one. Javier Miedo says, isn't it sad that China has a less moderated social media than the West? Yep. CJ says, you look like you stole Legal Eagle's green screen and tried to turn it VR. So 3D, it looks like we can hang something on our side of the screen. Yeah. Get that bokeh. Get it. Digitalis says 2 words, liver spots. Oh, I hope so. Literally everyone says Cam looks good. Nice shallow depth of field. Thoughts on Bill and Melinda splitting up? Goes to show money isn't everything. What we're learning about Bill and Melinda Gates is that Bill took an annual trip with an ex-girlfriend to a secluded cabin or something once a year, and that was part of their marriage. I would suggest, based on that alone, that their marriage has been a sham the entire time. It was a condition of marrying Melinda. Melinda, you will let me go on a once a year date with my ex-girlfriend. Well, okay then, because billionaires live different lives than us. I wouldn't consider that a marriage at all. Tamara Holloway says, drop YouTube membership for Locals tonight. Yes, do it. Join on Locals. Locals is the place. Zygax says, I will cry with laughter every tweet of yours because it makes at least one SJW pissed off into a frenzy. The Geo Speaks says, first super chat. Hey, thank you. Yay, love the new camera, Nick. When are you going to make your VTuber debut? I need to set it up soon. I owe it to Baka Matai, even though Australia's fake. Michael P says, Nick giving us all fantastic advice on how to blind ourselves, just to not be found out crying. Yep. It's better to be blind than crying. Don't do it. Not applicable says, be an emotionless robot for society. How libertarian? No, don't cry in public for your own good. Don't cry in public for your own good. Has nothing to do with society. Has everything to do with your own personal benefit. Don't cry in public. If you're a man, don't do it. Take those emotions and you express them in private. Amateur Ann says, Rax, your hair looks great. Can't say much about the rest. You're starting to look like Phil Leotardo from The Sopranos. Oh, God. Amateur Ann says, Jada did the okay sign. She's a white supremacist. Yep. Speedy, 1993, says, Will Smith got so screwed in this, she cheated on him. Yeah. Ace Brain, 2003, says, Nick hit the wall. Dude, years ago. Monica's personal fucking fiance says, Monica gave me that same speech about her and Vic. Emma Norman says, by the way, Will Smith just goes by Smith now because he's clearly lost the will. Comes and Goes says, horse poop. You do not do an open relationship when your current is on the rocks. She's trying to deflect so bad. Digitalis says he wanted to see her getting that BWC and she just locked his ass out of the house instead. Kuranai 6942 says, lol, Nick B sounding like Drexel tonight. Look, there's Drexel and I have a Venn diagram of beliefs. Amateur Ant says, never get married, never live with a woman, stay in a separate houses. Men will get fucked every time in a divorce. If you live in the same house for a period of time, courts and cops are not your friends, guys. See, I disagree with that statement, but I am going to not argue with it because it's not my place to do that. I'm not here to change your minds. CJ says, so is your Schwartz hearing going to be with the Lone Star, Dark Helmet, or Yogurt? I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Dark Helmet. Great movie. Great movie. Teresa Conti, thank you for the donation. Monica's personal fucking fiance says, I bit the bullet and took Monica's place on the casting couch. Chris said, Ron, you are the best I've ever had. Sheep Sidian says, Kaylin Swakadoo, a.k.a. Mars Girl, is the fat Heather Antos of the Karenverse. Disgusting. All of that is disgusting. Justin Austin Heartless says, is this what you see when you look in the mirror? No wonder why you drink on stream. Yes. Ash B says, buy Dogecoin, you ingrates. Amateur Ant says, people can't see Trump is trolling again. I don't think he's trolling, man. I really don't. I think that office of Donald Trump, I mean, there's some trollish aspects to it. But he told everybody he was creating a social media platform. It was literally a blog. Ugh. Amateur Ant says, what's Mike's social media called? My Pillow Space? I think it's called Flick. Mike Lindell social media. What is it called? News. Vimeo deleted Mike Lindell's MyPillow account. Shit. Frank. It's called Frank. That's what it's called. Like, I'm going to be frank with you. Okay. Can I still be Garth? Oh my goodness, guys. We hit 1,500 likes. I now have to drink another bit of whiskey. Did you guys know that rule? 1,500 likes is another drink of whiskey. Cheers. Buttery Goodness says, love the commentary, Nick, but I have to ask, is being a wise ass an inherited trait, or is it something you had to work hard on? Both. It's both. Ash B says, one more thing, buy Doge. Andrew War Snowboard says, then Chicago Bears LB. What's an LB? Mike Curtis once laid out a fan who ran on the field in the 80s. What my dad would give for that video on YouTube. What's an LB? You only see 1.3K? I've got 1581. Here, I'll show you. Check that out. There it is. 1401 current viewers, 1583 likes. Doesn't update as fast for you guys. Linebacker. Oh, the Chicago Bears. Sorry, guys, you have to forgive me for a second. That makes so much sense. Andrew War Snowboard, however, whom I know personally and like very much, is a massive baseball fan. So I thought he was talking about the Cubs. I didn't even, I read Bears, but I read Andrew War Snowboard, so I immediately went to baseball. That's what happened there. My bad. Javier Miedo says, if someone makes a guilty plea in a plea deal, but the court rejects the deal, are they admitting guilt or does it differ? No, the guilty plea is not made if the court rejects the deal. Bweh Says, I forced myself to cry in front of my ex when my grandma died because she accused me of being emotionless. It was a bad idea. Not crying isn't not sad. Correct. It's a bad idea. Don't cry. Don't do it. You're a man. You're a man. Don't do it. If your dad didn't beat that into you, let me be your internet dad and beat that into you. Do not cry in front of other people. You are a man. Don't do it. Trust me. I'm looking out for you here. Austin Heartless says, why do game journos hate the male gaze so much? Seems homophobic. It is. Jillian Seed says, now go home and get your shine box. Jillian Seed says, they make anybody and everybody over there. Guys don't get their finger pricked. There's no sword and gun on the table either. It has meaning or no meaning. Amateur Ant says, never trust something that bleeds for 5 days and doesn't die. Adam should have never ate that fruit. Jillian says, turn Nick into Phil Leotardo, the Shah of Iran. Let's see, where are we? Gummy says, how the hell do you write an article like this when the literal minority in that game is the human race? You go to various planets and galaxies. Jesus. Not Applicable says, yeah, you'd cry if you were tortured, pretty sure. Nope, don't cry in public. Javier Miedo says, for the Chauvin case, can the prosecution be sanctioned / disbarred if the defense proves Juror 52's perjury was known prior to verdict by the prosecution? That'd be a hard one to do. That'd be a hard one to do. I don't think so. Not Applicable says, a lot of people suggested you play Mass Effect before now, by the way. I know, and I don't listen to them then or now. Paul Durfee says, if you want some high-tier autism, just read anything by Francis E. Deck, Esquire. Medicare did it once, and it was amazing. Yes. Yes, I know. It's ridiculous. Rotor 13 says, Bombs Man looks like the most entertaining game I've seen in a few months. I have a spare $10. Oops, I only have 5 now. Ash B says, watch Truman Show. Bada Beer says, I have 12 years of games that I replay because my drunken state makes them new to me. Wick Dipper says, did you let Goatsy get at your pores? Yes. Yes. And it was invigorating. Matt K says, don't ever lean back unless you want to be blurry. Yeah. Get blurry, bitches. I can lean forward and be blurry too. Not as easily. Russell Wallace Warren says, kisses. And then there's a message retracted. Then he says, make it sting. Then he says, this is the world's saddest wannabe FBI sad chat ever. Damn. Michael Mason says, how do boxing matches avoid mutual combat laws? Licensure. Samurai Knight says, you drink every D after M, Nick. Uncivil Law says, if you believe you shouldn't cry, why were you calling me every other day, wearing into the phone for want of a good camera and lens? Now that you have one, should I cancel the usual 3 p.m. conference? Yes, you should. I'm now healed. Do you mean weeping into the phone instead of wearing into the phone? Did you get cucked by autocorrect? I hope so. It would serve you right. Russell Wallace Warren says, want to play a game? Don't make money off playing games. Control-Alt-Delete. No, make money off playing games. Do it. Jillian C says, Ricada did 20 years in the can. Not a peep. No one important says, I tear up every time I have a spicy poo. Does that count? Yes, that's in private, unless you're shitting in public. If you're shitting in public, like you're in India, don't cry. Not Applicable says, this horse shit, but you're against machismo. Lol. I'm against machismo. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, for your own benefit, don't cry in public. And if you want to prove me right, just go as a man and cry in public. Like, go cry in the workplace and see how much sympathy you get. Go cry in front of a bunch of women and see how many dates come from it. Don't cry in public. For your own sake. Not for mine. Not for society. Not for anybody else. Literally for you. Why would you cry in public ever? Holy shit. Okay, a couple more. We've got Where Tiger Ray says, did you see the multiplayer Morrowind mod? I did. Multiplayer Morrowind sounds weird. Bad Dragon Knight says, yes, you can punch a journalist in Mass Effect. In fact, there's a compilation of journalist punches. Angry Baneling says, hey, Nikki, nice green screen, bro. Nick's new green screen background is greater than Bombshman. This just tells you that Angry Baneling has no taste. By the way, why do you have a pro-feminist t-shirt, Nick? It's hurting my soul and yours, too. You don't have a soul. You're from India, which is fake, so you're fake. Also, 4 out of 10 hair. It's time to wash it again. You do realize that I do this show at the end of my day, right? Night of Hope says, incidentally, that is a big part of the reason I stopped dating was because I was tired of not being a human being to any of those people. I don't think Drex is totally right about women, but he's right about like 80% of them or so. Yeah, that's how it goes. There you go, guys. That's what I've got for you tonight. Let's go over to Twitch. Let's go over to Twitch. We will watch a movie. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you over on Twitch. I don't know what movie we're watching. We'll figure something out pretty quick. I also got to make some food. We'll talk to you then. Have a good night, guys. Peace. Peace. Russell Wallace Warren says, Toots Sweary. And Joshua Sanabria says, I'm of the opinion that a man should shed a tear for only 3 things: his God, his country, and his family, and only at great discretion. And only in private.
He drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an ardbeg, a bow, more of Lafroig. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed